fleas, playing with a banana, banging my skull against the bars of the cage and sticking out my tongue when anyone came near me. These were the first occupations of my new life, and in all of them, there was only one feeling: no way out. Of course, today, I can portray those ape-like feelings only with human words, and because of that, I misrepresent them. I know that I've largely lost the physicality of an ape, but it would appear that I'm also losing the mental thought process of an ape as well. But people consider beneficial such confinement of wild animals at the very first period of time. And today, based on my own experience, I cannot deny that in a human sense, that is in fact beneficial. Beneficial? 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 Well, does anyone here have a pet at home locked up in a cage? No? Well, has anybody here been to prison? You, madam. I'm terribly sorry, but you do look like as you have been to prison. Because I know it's rather embarrassing to talk about these in front of the colleagues, but tell me, were you released or did you escape? Listen, we will talk about these later and with more privacy. Well, returning to my story, for the first time in my life, I had no way out. I stood on the closely fitted board, squashed in my cage. Oh, but there was a hole on the boards, and when I found it, I welcomed it with a blissfully happy howl of ignorance. And where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Can you all see it? At the back? Maybe not. Excuse me, madam. Could you please pass the whole around? Be very gentle. No, I can give it to you. Gentle, langsam.
Langsam,
Don't drop it.
No.
It's a very special hole for me. Just pass it round. Well, as you can all see it, the hole wasn't nearly big enough to stick my tail through. My tail? I'm terribly sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but once again, this information doesn't make any sense. We do not have tails. I mean, chimpanzees, orangutans, and gorillas don't have tails. The problem is here that Kafka didn't make it very clear what species of ape I was. Don't take me wrong, I love Kafka, and I read all his novels and short stories, but obviously he didn't know much about monkeys. Regardless what species of ape Kafka thought I was, with a tail or without a tail, This hole was extremely small, and all the power of an ape could not make it any bigger. And by the way, where's my hole? Can I have it back?
It's here.
Thank you very much. Oh, up until then, I had so many ways out from everything, and now I had none. I was tied down. If they had nailed me down to the floor, my freedom to move would not be any less. Why? Well, if I sat down and scratched raw the flesh on my legs, I wouldn't find an answer. If I pressed my back against the bars of the cage until it almost cut me in two, I wouldn't find a reason. I had no way out. But I had to come up with one for myself, for without that, I couldn't live. Inside this cage, I would inevitably have died a miserable death. But according to Hagenbeck, the place for an ape is inside a small cage. Well, that meant I had to stop being an ape. Easier said than done, but as you can see, I did it. And it was a beautiful thought that I must somehow have planned with my belly, since we apes think with our bellies, don't we? I'm worried that you people do not understand precisely what I mean with the way out. I use this expression in its most common and fullest sense. I am not saying freedom on purpose. No, I don't mean that great feeling of freedom. As a monkey, I lived in freedom, and I've met some humans who yearn for it, but as far as I'm concerned, I never asked you for freedom. Don't take me wrong, but I do believe that you humans are too often deceived by freedom. What is freedom besides an illusion? And since you reckon freedom among the most sublime feelings, each corresponding disappointment, it's also among the most sublime in the variety shows. And I will show you later a little bit of my old act. Yes, I was a theatre actress. On the variety shows before my entrance, I often watched a pair of acrobats busy on the trapezes high up in the roof. And they swing and rock back and forth. They jump. Oh, they hang from each other's arms. Ah, gross. One hold the other by clenching his hair between his teeth. And you know they have a safety net, don't you? We don't have a safety net in the jungle. And you pay to see this. That's human freedom too, I thought. Self-controlled and rehearsed movements. Oh, what a mockery of sacred nature. If my family were here to see such a spectacle, no theatre walls would stand up to the shock of their laughter. No, I didn't ask you for freedom, only a way out, to the right or left or anywhere at all. I made no other demands, even knowing that that way out could also be only an illusion. And today I see clearly that without the greatest inner calm which came over me after the first few days there on the ship, I could never have found a way out. In fact, I owe that calmness to the people on the ship. And they were good people. Today, I still enjoy remembering the clang of their heavy steps. That used to echo in my half-sleep. They had the habit of tackling everything extremely slowly. Like if one of them wanted to rub his eyes, he would hang his hand like if it was a hanging weight. Their jokes were gross, but hearty, and their laughter was always mixed with a rasp. That sounded dangerous. But they did nothing. They always had something in their mouths. Spit out. Of course, they didn't care where they spat. They always complained about my fleas. Oh, I'm really sorry, madam. Do you mind? This one is not mine. They're delicious. May I? Schmeckt sehr gut. About the fleas? No, actually, they weren't that angry with me. No, I think they were angry with me because of other things, but not with the fleas. Actually, when they had no duties, they used to come and sit down in a semicircle. I must stop. It's rude. Yes, they used to sit down in a semicircle around me. They didn't speak much, only made noises to each other while they smoked their pipes. They slapped their knees to my slightest movement, and from time to time, one of them would pick up a stick and tickle me where I liked it. The calmness which I acquired among these people prevented me, above all, from any attempt to escape. Looking at it nowadays, it seems to me that I've at least sensed that I had to find a way out if I wanted to leave. But that way out could not be reached by escaping. I actually don't know if escape was possible, but I think it was. Yes, for an ape it should always be possible to flee. With my present teeth, I have to be careful, even with the ordinary task of cracking a peanut. But by then, I must have been succeeded over time in chewing through the chains of my cage. And I have the original chains of my cage. They were given to me as a souvenir. I didn't do it. What would I have achieved by doing it? No sooner Could I have stuck my head out? Then they would have catched me again and locked me up in an even worse cage. Or I could have hidden unnoticed among the other animals. Say the boa constrictors opposite me. And breathe my last in their embraces. Or I could have sneak up to the deck and jump overboard. Then I would have tossed back and forth for a little while on the ocean until I drowned. Acts of despair. Of course, by then, I couldn't really think things through in such a human sense. But under the influence of my surroundings, I conducted myself as if I had worked things out. I didn't, but I did